Hey, what's up you guys, it's me Luke and welcome back to another video, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I post commentary, critique, and reaction videos on basically anything on the internet that interests me. So if any of that interests you, then please go ahead and click that subscribe button and turn on the post notifications bell so that you never miss another upload from me. Alrighty guys, so taking it back to before I took my YouTube hiatus, I was doing a lot of ranking videos for movies and TV shows and also YouTubers where I basically did the tier lists where I ranked characters or people from best to worst. And today I thought I would go ahead and bring that back because I really enjoy doing those videos, but I thought I would go ahead and bring it back with a really relevant show. So by now I assume we've all watched Stranger Things, and if you haven't, what are you doing? It's literally the most popular show on Netflix. I think it's even more popular than way back when Orange is the New Black was a thing. So I finished season 4 about a week or two ago. I just wanted to digest all of my thoughts and give everyone a bit of time to catch up before I did this. But without further ado, let's get into the ranking because I'm about to dive in to this tier list. Alrighty guys, so here is my tier list that I made. So these are my titles that I came up with. So first up, we have the top tier, which is telekinetic powers, which is basically all of the powers in Hawkins' lab that the children have, including 11. Then we have walkie-talkies, because without cell phones, where would these kids have been without their walkie-talkies? It's a great way to communicate, and I really love walkie-talkies. I think I used them when I was a kid, but they just look so fun. Next up is Eggos, pizza, and peanut butter. In my mind, these are the most prominent foods in the show. You have Elle, who loves her Eggos. You have Argyle, who is Jonathan's friend who has the pizza company, and then you have the peanut butter in Russia that's like banned there and they're all obsessed with it. So that's kind of why I thought that I'd make that the middle tier. And then the second last is the upside down, for obvious reasons. You don't want to land up there. And the worst one of them all is possibly the worst thing that you could ever put in this tier list is Vecna's curse. Now, if you've not watched season 4, you should probably not watch this video, but if you have, we all know what Vecna's curse is. He basically brings people up into the air. He uses his right hand, which has one of his hands as talons, and he puts it in their head and he like fucks up their brain and they convulse and like all their bones start breaking, and it's pretty bad. If you watch the show, you know. So that's why that is the worst tier you could possibly be in. So we have 30 characters here. These are kind of like the main characters of season 4, and one thing this show is known for as it goes on is having a butt fuck of characters. And this season of the show was really interesting compared to other seasons because it was giving like Game of Thrones in the sense of having different storylines in different locations. We had our Hawkins storyline, we had our, I don't know where Will and all of them were living, but we had that deserty, was it California, I think? I don't know. But we had that storyline, and then we had the Russia storyline. So there was quite a lot of pulling back and between these. Oh, and then we had the bunker storyline as well. So we had 4 different like locations that we were in. So it was quite interesting to be following these characters in different locations. I found it fun, although there were times where I would be really invested in a certain story, and then it would cut to the next story and I was like, damn it, and I just was like hoping we could get to that next story, which is the exact same feeling that I have when I watch Game of Thrones. Like, for example, I was really interested in the Russia storyline, like I just kept wanting to watch that, and the Hawkins one. I didn't so much care for Elle in the bunker. It just like wasn't that interesting to me, like seeing all those flashbacks, but it got real interesting when we got to number 1 and all of that drama, but we'll get into that. So let's go ahead and do our ranking. So first up, we're going to do the star of the show, 11, otherwise known as Jane. So, you know, she's a good character, don't get me wrong, but I feel like obviously the way that she was brought up, she's not very like socially inept. Like she just talks in a really weird way. Like she just is a bit like, I don't want to say special because like I don't mean it in that way, but like she's just not all there when it comes to being social, you know what I mean? She's just very awkward. And especially in like a relationship with Mike, she seems like very full on, and obviously it just didn't seem like the two of them were on the same page in the beginning. And I think obviously her being bullied was awful, and I do not condone any of that, but her smacking Angela in the face with a roller skate was completely unhinged. And then the way that she spoke to the police and basically like made her situation even worse when they were like, oh, did you want to kill her? And she's like, I don't know. Bitch, just lie. Like, say no. Yeah, I did really feel for Elle because obviously she lost Hopper, who's like kind of her dad. And then when she found him, well, she didn't find him, he found her. But when they met up at the end of the show, my heart, I cried a little bit, y'all. I was getting so emotional. But yeah, Elle as a character, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, okay? Because she has the powers and she's all fun and she's so cool, whatever. I'm just not really a fan. Like, I'm kind of indifferent to her. Whenever I watch her on the show, I'm just kind of like, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and put her in Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter. I feel like I'm gonna get hate for this, but it's just my opinion. Anyway, next up we have Will. Will is a character that really interests me. Obviously in the first season, he was the one who went missing and got trapped in the Upside Down. That season, so the show's been going on for a while. I'm 22 now. When it first came out, I was 17. And I remember watching the first season. I watched it all in one night and it was so scary. The way that he was like trapped and like pushing out through the walls, like, ugh, that stuff sent me shivers. But Will is a character I find really interesting. Don't get me wrong, this season he was really, there are parts of him that were very flat, but you can tell that he's hiding something, and the way that he acts with Mike, I am telling you, that boy is a homosexual and is in love with Mike. The way he acts around him and talks to him, he's so in love with him, and the way those moments that he had with Jonathan about like how he couldn't open up and stuff, something is going on there. Obviously we have the deep-rooted, like obviously being homosexual is like one thing, especially back in the 80s. But then another thing is the fact that he's probably still extremely traumatized from his experience in the Upside Down because he like was living there for a while. But I really like Will. I really, really do. But I'm not like obsessed. So I'm gonna put him in walkie-talkies. Next up, we have Mike. Mike doesn't really do much for me in this season. Like, he's just trying to look for Elle, and I get it, but I'm not that interested in him anymore. Like, I feel like in the earlier seasons I was, but now I'm a bit indifferent, and I really don't have a lot to say about him. Like, he cares about his friends and stuff, but sometimes he can be a bit daft. Like, he just doesn't really see how other people can feel, and it just can get him in a bit of shit. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put him in Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter with Elle. At least they can be together, right? Next up we have Dustin. I love Dustin. Dustin, or Dusty Bun, is the best. He is so smart. He always knows what he's doing and how to, you know, get to the root of stuff, and he is just, he's a genius, and he's so adventurous and so fun. I love whenever he is on the screen. He's definitely up there as one of my faves, so I'm putting him in telekinetic powers. It's kind of sad how Elle isn't in telekinetic powers when she literally has telekinetic powers, but you win some, you lose some. Next up we have Lucas. Now Lucas is another character that I'm kind of indifferent to. Like, this season he was, I guess, trying to get Max back, but there was really not, and he was like friends with the jocks. I guess that was his storyline. And then he pledged his allegiance back to the gang. So that was good, but not good enough to rank him higher up. He still, to me, is just a tad boring, and I feel indifferent towards him. So I'm putting him in Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter as well. Next up, we have Max. I really, really like Max. You know, I really relate to her tough upbringing. I mean, I've never lived in a trailer, but I have had a tough upbringing with a mom who drank. So, you know, I related to her on that level. And I think she's really mature, and I think she's been through a lot with Billy, and I really like her, and I'm really, really scared for her after what happened to her with Vecna's curse, and she's in that coma, and like freaking every bone in her body is broken. I really hope she pulls through. And I liked Max this season. I felt for her a lot. I was really scared for her most of the time. I was like living on the edge. So I'm gonna put Max in telekinetic powers because I really like her. Now, if you've watched season 4 of Stranger Things, then you know that for some odd reason that's never exactly explained, that I still to this day don't really understand, Max listens on a cassette tape to Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill to protect her from Vecna. I feel like this is a weird thing that everyone just accepted because it's like a fun song that's gone viral on TikTok, and no one's really talking about how weird this is. But you know what? It is what it is. And now Kate Bush may be able to protect Max from Vecna's curse, but she can't protect her from danger on the internet. But you know who can? The sponsor of this video, Surfshark VPN. Whoa! Now, I know that technically they didn't have internet back in the 80s, but I'm pretty sure that you do, considering you're watching this video. So in my opinion, that was a pretty good segue. if I do say so myself. Anyways, Surfshark VPN is a virtual private network that keeps you safe and private by covering up everything you do online. We've worn masks in public to protect us from COVID, and this is the same, except now you're masking your identity online to protect your location, information, and online situation. Now, I don't know about you, but being locked away in the Upside Down was kind of how I felt being locked away during COVID, and how I sometimes feel now to this day in my own home. Not having the time or money to explore as much as I did before, and also just because I'm a bit of a lazy introvert, I spend a lot of time streaming movies and TV shows. And using Surfshark VPN, I can travel the world with a click of a button to access website or content that is blocked or inaccessible in my country. Let's say there's a show I want to watch, but it's not on my Netflix. I'll just Google what country it's in, and let's say it's somewhere like the US. Well, then let's just go ahead and tap that button on my Surfshark VPN and swap on over to the US and pop on Miley's Party in the USA, because hey, I'm virtually there. And that goes the same with any other streaming platform in any other country, because Surfshark VPN has 3,200 plus servers in 95 countries. So you got plenty of options for which location you want to virtually travel to. On a serious note, it's really important to stay safe online, especially when you're using public Wi-Fi networks. Surfshark's military-grade encryption of your data and internet traffic is guaranteed no matter where you are on an unlimited amount of devices. And Surfshark's add-on security combo monitors your personal data by checking for potential breaches and giving you real-time alerts to protect your online identity. As a bonus, they also have an antivirus add-on which performs scheduled scans of your devices to give you real-time protection so that your devices are always virus-free. You know, people in Stranger Things want to be free of Vecna's curse. I just want to be free from viruses and hackers. Now, I'm sure you guys could tell from my splendid delivery that there are many great benefits to Surfshark VPN, but I highly recommend you check them out for yourself by going to surfsharkvpn.deals/LukeAlexander and entering promo code LukeAlexander at checkout for a whole 83% off and 3 months free. I don't know what you've seen, but that is the best VPN deal I have seen on the market. Thank you so much to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring this video and keeping me and many others safe when we're online. And now, let's just get back into the ranking, because I'm about to dive back in to this video. Next up, we have Steve. Steve is such an interesting character because he used to be such an a-hole way back when in the first season, and he has really spun things around. And he was so brave in that season, a little bit stupid, but really brave when he dove into the water and went through the gate. And I liked him during the season. He's really nice, and I feel like I really want him and Nancy to get back together. I'll get onto it when I talk about Jonathan, but I don't see that. There's no chemistry there, which is weird because the two of them are dating in real life. Anyway, so I think I'm gonna put Steve up in telekinetic powers because I really like him. Next up, we have Robin. I love how Robin is like so talkative and just like can't stop putting her foot in her mouth and just like says weird things, and she's just so cute, and I love a little bit of LGBTQ representation, and I think she's really sweet and always up for the ride and the adventure, and she makes things more exciting, and I really do like her. And I hope that her and that girl who are making the PBs&Js in the last episode get together. Who knows, Robin, that girl could be bi, you know, she had the boyfriend, but who knows? So there's still hope, you know. So yeah, I really like Robin, but not like a ton like the rest of the characters. We also haven't had a ton of time with her, only like 2 seasons, but I'm gonna put her in walkie-talkies. Next up, we have Miss Nancy, little Miss Smarty Pants. Nancy's up for a little bit of investigations. She was really good with the whole Victor Creed was his last name, I think. The whole Victor Creed case, and she really broke through with that, and I appreciated that, and she was brave this season, which was good. And I do like that about her, but I'm also just like kind of bored. Like, I just like her personality is what disinterests me. You know what I mean? Like her driving the story along is good, but I guess her intelligence does that, but her personality is just not something that I really gravitate towards. So I'm putting her in Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter. Next up, we have Jonathan. You guys, I don't think I've really ever liked Jonathan that much. I just find him I feel like I keep saying this, but I find him boring. Like, he's not super fleshed out. Like, what is even interesting about him? This whole season, he's just like, what, he gets high now because he's moved and has a stoner friend. Like, what's interesting about that? Literally, the only thing I liked about him this season is that emotional conversation he had with Will, where he said he would love him no matter what. And I really, really liked that and appreciated that. But I just like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, part of me is tempted to put him in the upside down, but like, he's done nothing wrong, so why would I do that? That would just be chaotic. So I'm gonna put him in Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter. So next up we have Jonathan's friend, Argold or Arnold or whatever his name is. So he was a little bit of comical relief this season, which was really good, and I really liked that. But I also feel like I don't know if I want him to be a permanent character. I'm not sure, but I like the whole pizza storyline. That was fun, and he's pretty fun. I do like him, you know what I mean? He's a stoner, which is fun, I guess. So I think I'm gonna put him in walkie-talkies. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm putting these people in these places, but then I'm going to rearrange them at the end to be like really best to worst, you know what I mean? Next up we have Eddie. Okay, I really, really like Eddie. Okay, I know that's probably a popular opinion, but he is so fun, and I really like his storyline. I hate the injustice, and I really, really hate that he passed away at the end. That was really upsetting for me. I really wanted him to continue to the next season, but of course, the Stranger Things writers just had to kill him off just when we found a character we really liked. But you know what? I really like Eddie. I think he's so fun, and he was a member of the Hellfire Club. He looked way too old to be in high school though, but anyway, and he deals drugs too, so he's just a community leader. Okay, so we're gonna put him in telekinetic powers. Next up, we have Erica. This bitch. This bitch is so funny. It's just the facts. And she's just like always blackmailing people. I love her so much. She is such a funny girl. I really want to see more of her in Stranger Things. Like, I feel like now that she's getting older, can she just like be a permanent part of the group? Come on! And how she was so good at the Dungeons and Dragons game and everything, that was so cool. So I think she is gonna go in telekinetic powers because, yeah, I like her that much. Believe it. Next up we have Hopper. Hopper's storyline this season was really hard to watch, like him getting really tortured, and it was so sad because like he went through the gate or whatever and just came out the other side and just happened to land in Russia in a fucking prison. And I just think it's so stupid that they imprisoned him when he just landed there without his fault of his own. So that was unfair, wrongful imprisonment. But I found his storyline so interesting. I always find like trying to escape places, like whether it's a prison, a haunted house, a mental institution, whatever. I always find escaping stuff to be really interesting. So I really, really liked his storyline this season, except for the parts where he was getting tortured. That was not fun. And the huge battle at the end of the show with those Demogorgons in the prison, that was epic, okay? I loved Hopper this season. So I'm gonna put Hopper in telekinetic powers. Next up we have Joyce. Joyce is really caring, and you know, I'll always remember her in season 1 when she like put up those lights and how emotional she was about Will, and the fact that she's taken Elle in and like adopted her is so sweet, and her relationship with Hopper is beautiful, and I really, really like her. I think she's a great mother. I mean, besides the fact that she literally left her kids to go to fucking Russia. Well, I guess she thought she was going to Alaska, but whatever. So I'm gonna put her in walkie-talkies. Next up, we have Murray. Murray as well. I love Murray. He is so funny. Anytime he's on screen, it's just a hoot. I really, really liked how he's more in this season than he was in the last, and I hope it continues to be that way because he is such a fun addition to the team. I'm gonna put him right next to Joyce in walkie-talkies. Next up, we have Rudi, I think his name is, who was the Russian prison guard who was actually, I guess, a traitor to the prison because he was being paid to bring Hopper out of the jail, and he is good in my eyes because he helped him, and he continued to help him once he was released because he became a prisoner himself. And I do like him, but I just don't know if I walkie-talkie like him, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna put him in Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter. Next up, we have Yuri, and this motherfucker can get fucked. The fact that he drugged Murray and Joyce and tried to bring them into the prison and hand them over. You're taking a mother away from her children and you're imprisoning 2 innocent people. You're messed up. Don't appreciate. So I'm really mad at him. He's a douchebag, and he can go to the fucking upside down. That's what you can do. Next up is Papa, who is the most controlling motherfucker ever, like always trying to control Elle, and whenever just let her be, leave her be. You always push her too far. You know you do, always. And anytime he shows up in the show, I'm so annoyed, and I'm so fucking grateful that he is dead. I don't care if that makes me a bad person. I'm sick of this motherfucker. This motherfucker has done so many bad things to Elle, and he can go ahead and be our first addition to Vecna's curse. Hope you enjoy that, Papa. Next up is this doctor guy. He was okay. Like, I appreciated how he was trying to help Elle, and when Elle wanted to leave, he was like, if she wants to leave, let her leave. That was really good. And it was kind of sad when he died, I guess. I was like, well, that's a bummer. You know, he's got a wife and probably some kids who've moved out of home. So we're gonna put him in Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter. Next up, we have one. So this was such a crazy turn of events. The fact that Peter, or one, or whatever you want to call him, or Henry, was being so kind to Elle in the little bunker hospital, whatever you want to call it, at the lab, and he was trying to help her escape and all that. I was like, when that was happening, I was like, yes, go Henry, you're so nice, thank you so much. And then when he revealed when he was one, I was like, oh wow, a whole origin story, he's been here this whole time. So I thought it was so interesting. And then when we discovered that he was killing everyone in the lab, all those children, I was like, what the fuck? And the fact that Elle thought she did it for so long, why did nobody tell her that that wasn't her fault and she didn't do it? Fucking Papa, that's why you're getting Vecna's curse. But, you know, the one, he's pretty messed up. Jamie Campbell-Roger, you did a good job because I fucking hated you. So we're putting him in Vecna's curse, duh. And then we have Vecna, who, honestly, one of the best villains of a TV show I've seen in a long time. Like, I honestly found him more interesting than the White Walkers from Game of Thrones, and that's really saying something. He was scarier as well. He was so scary, and the show it's like, it's really a horror, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really get too scared by supernatural stuff in the sense where it's not gonna like keep me up at night, but while I'm watching it, I'm like, ooh, it's creepy. It's not so much scary, it's creepy. That's what this is. And he was creepy, for lack of a better word. How many times can I say it? But yeah, what he was trying to do to Elle and Max was so messed up, and what he did to those other kids was just, yeah, it's fucked. And how the whole storyline with like her pushing Henry into like the upside down and then him turning into Vecna was so interesting, and how like the Demogorgons are his like foot soldiers. Like, it kind of all pieced everything together. But then now at the end of the show, obviously like the gates split open, and now like the whole city of Hawkins is messed up, and like the upside down is like bleeding into the earth. So pretty excited for season 5 in 2024. What is with shows having 2-year gaps between of them? Euphoria does it as well. I'm over it. I'm getting so fucking old, and so are the kids in the show. Anyway, it's pretty obvious that Vecna's going in Vecna's curse, duh. Next up, we have this FBI agent. This FBI agent, why don't you fucking listen to anyone? This man caused so much destruction and chaos because he just wouldn't shut the fuck up and listen to people. He tortured that one, like, guard or whatever his name was for no reason. He didn't even know where she was. Well, he did, but still. And then was it him who shot the doctor? I don't know. But this was just such a messed up character. Every time he came on screen, I just wanted to punch it. More than Vecna, because at least Vecna was interesting. This guy was just a fucking prick. Oh, you think really an 11-year-old is causing all of this? Well, she's not 11 on the show, it's like 14 or something. But you really think that she's causing all of this trouble? Think. God damn. He's getting Vecna's curse. I'm sorry, it has to be done. Actually, I'm not sorry. He deserves it. Next up, we have 2. So this motherfucker bullied Elle and like literally beat her up with a bunch of other stupid telekinetic kids, and it was disgusting. And all because she's stronger than you and you're jealous. So he's going in the upside down. May you rot in hell. Next up, we have Jason, this jock who just went around town looking for Eddie, trying to kill him for a crime that he didn't commit, and was acting like an absolute idiot. This motherfucker was giving major right-wing Republican vibes, and I was not a fan. The way he handled that gun, I was getting Trumpy vibes, I have to say it. He was such a douche. Once again, just like the FBI agent, why don't you just shut up and listen? And then when he was beating Lucas up, when he was saying that Lucas was the one putting Max in that trance, he was gonna wake her up and ruin the whole thing. You are such an idiot. Just listen. You think you're so smart. You're not. And saying the whole Hellfire thing, and then he like spoke to the whole town and like was just being a, oh. I want to put him in Vecna's curse, but he's just a stupid teenager. You know, it was pretty satisfying though when his body literally got ripped in half as the earth moved, so at least we got that justice. So I'm just gonna, he's basically going to the upside down, so I'm gonna just let him rot there. Next up we have the victims of Vecna. So we have Chrissy. All this girl wanted was to get a little high so she didn't have to think about her shitty life. Is that so hard to believe? Poor girl. She can go in Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter. Next up, we have Fred, who killed someone in a car accident and it haunted him, and that was his trauma, so he died. Not a very interesting character to me. I wonder how he killed the person in the car accident, because that would really determine like where he's gonna go on this. Like, was it just a mistake? Was he drunk driving? Was he being reckless? Like, I want to know. But for now, just to be safe, we'll put him in Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter. Next up, we have Patrick, who is Jason's friend, who was going along with Patrick's mission, which just goes to show that you're a mindless idiot, so you can rot in the upside down alongside Jason. Next up, we have Susie, who is Dusty Bud's little girl. She's not in the show very much, but when she is, she's such a smarty, starchy part. I don't know what I'm saying. She's such a smarty pants, and she really helps the team out when they need them. So she can go into, see, I don't know, I feel weird putting in walkie-talkies because like I don't know her that well. I'm just gonna make Eggo's Pizza and Peanut Butter. Then we have Angela, this bitch, bullied Elle and made her high school experience a living hell. And you know where you can go? Hell. Actually, you know what? No. You know where you can go? To get Vecna? No, she's just a stupid kid. Okay, you can go to hell and hopefully you learn the lesson there. You're going to the upside down. Alrighty guys, that is my tier list there for the Stranger Things characters. So I guess my favorite characters are Dustin and Steve, and my least favorite characters are Juan and Vecna. Makes sense. So yeah guys, that's it for me in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead and let me know who your ranking is. You don't have to do everyone, just let me know who your favorite characters are basically, and let me know if there's any other shows you want me to rank. I'll actually leave a playlist down below of all the shows I've already ranked. I've done a couple already, so check it out. And if you have not already, please make sure you subscribe and turn on the post notifications bell so that you never miss another upload from me. And all my social media, my merch, my podcast channel, my second channel, and my Cameo is linked down below, so check it all out. Go ahead and watch some of my other videos while you're waiting for my next one, and thank you so much for watching this one, and I will see you in my next one, and I hope that you have a great day or night wherever around the world. Bye!